My name is Ian, this is ZeroHp, and this is the Experience Point. Hey everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's a special day. I finally finished Witcher 3. And that's what this experience point is, the first experience point. This is my review for the game. I do written reviews. However, we don't really have any way to post them right now. And so I'm a little behind anyways. I'm still in the last year writing reviews. But this is the game. This is the game in 2015. It's one of the greatest gaming experiences I've ever had in my entire life, and I don't exaggerate often. I'm not one for a lot of hyperbole, so you know it's good when I say it. I mean, I'm serious. If you have not played this game, you need to play this game. It's a genre-defining game. It's one of those games where if you're like, yeah, I'm not really into the fantasy, RPGs are fine, but I'm just not a huge fan of the swords and dragons kind of a thing. It doesn't matter. This game is well above and beyond any kind of subgenre that you may or may not like. It's just too good to ignore. And we're going to get into why right now. So, again, thank you so much. Witcher 3. Wow. It's just... I'm not even really sure where to begin. But for me, we'll start with just what's most important to me as a gamer. Hopefully, obviously, we all have different opinions about what we want out of a video game. But as I said last time in the intro episode, games have caught up. We're telling true stories here. The Witcher, along with a few other games out there, Mass Effect, Last of Us. I mean, we're talking really high-level character development, arcs. I mean, everything you need in good literary fiction. And it's just a journey. I mean, there's no better way to describe it. Of course, the game itself is good. The combat's fun, and it's not perfect. It's got a couple of issues. But for the most part, Witcher 3 is about as close to a perfect game as you can get, with the exception of a few, minor glitches that come about. Some pretty funny looking things can pop up. Look at this one.
Many years to you, the downfall of civilization, moral decay.
But even little things like that, I mean, it almost make it just more endearing in its own right. And when I say endearing, I mean maybe an issue up for debate. Honestly, for me, I found that if you hadn't played the first two games, or at least Witcher 2, they didn't do the absolute greatest job of connecting us all. So, because Witcher 1 was a pretty small game, a lot of people didn't ever see it, play it, PC only. Witcher 2 came out PC only and then came to Xbox 360, so slightly larger audience. But if you haven't been, I was fortunate enough to play Witcher 2 and portions of Witcher 1. I never beat it, but I knew what was going on. I know what Geralt is like. I know who Triss is. I know all these characters. These incredible characters. And so if you don't, you will grow to love them all or hate them all, or hate some of them, love all of them, or whatever it is. But it definitely left some to be desired as far as connecting everything together. It's basically like if I dropped you in the middle of season 3 of Game of Thrones, you wouldn't know what the hell is going on, but after you get a few episodes in, it's just so good and well written and so entertaining that by season 5 you're into it at that point, So it kind of works like that. And of course, obviously, there's the difference between a show and a game is that even if you're not 100% sure who's who or what's what right off the bat, the game it's just fun to play. The combat is reminiscent of, I would say, kind of a mix of maybe a From Software game, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, in the sense that it's all about movement. It's about how, Geralt is able to, you have a dodge and a roll and, things like that. And, quick attack, strong attack, kind of basic things you would see in maybe a Souls game or the Bloodborne. But then it also has a bit of Assassin's Creed in there. You've got a defensive ability where you can, if you time it right and you pull up the block as the enemy hits sword, you pull a counter and you can counterattack, little things like that. So there's definitely some depth to the combat. Of course, you also have your abilities, your magical abilities. You're not like a mage, so you're not this incredibly powerful wizard, but as a witcher who is a monster hunter in this universe, you have limited abilities that are pretty cool. Igni, which is fire. They all have these different names. You can shield yourself. So there's a few other ones. You can trick people's mind and they can join your side. You've got your force push, which is pretty sick. So some really cool magical abilities in with the in pretty deep sword fighting system with the constant movement makes it fun. And gosh, there are just times, especially when you're doing what a witcher does, which is hunt monsters, and you get these contracts, and it's fighting some of these creatures, these incredible artwork that these guys have come up with. These creatures are just amazing and so original. It's really hard to be in this fantasy genre and be original. Orcs and goblins, dragons. There's all kinds of stuff. All this sort of creatures. Most of it derives from a lot of Polish and other Central to Eastern European folklore, which is really cool. It's just a whole new twist on the fantasy, and really brings a fresh newness to the enemies and to the combat and just to the world in and of itself. But yeah, I mean, and that's why it feels so good and why the combat feels so good. I think is almost because there's context to what you're doing, and the Witcher contracts are a perfect example of that. Just feel like a total badass, and Geralt is a total badass. I think that beyond kind of the basics, which we kind of covered as far as combat, I didn't really cover it in depth. But one of the biggest victories for Witcher is not what it does well compared to other games in the sense of what it does the same. So, in what I mean by this is combat. Every RPG has combat. Is it better combat than this combat, or this combat more combat-y than combatness? No. It's just combat. It's good. It plays well. Is it the best combat in a video game ever? No. It's good. It's solid. It carries the weight of what you'll be doing, which is a lot of fighting, of course, in the game. But what Witcher does, it's truly, when I said earlier, it's a genre, defining. I mean, it transcends the genre in the sense that it does what all RPGs wish that they did. It does, as much as I really enjoyed Dragon Age Inquisition, and Mass Effect, and Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls is probably, those Elder Scrolls are my favorite game series of all time, just overall. So they are all outdone by Witcher in one huge way, and that is content. And I don't just mean amount. A lot of games will come out, we have an endless amount of content, which usually means you can hunt down scavenger hunting things over and over again. Find 8 letters. Find this man's sword in this cave. Find Johnny's shoe. And it's just find this and find that and go talk to this person. And that gets turned on its head in Witcher. Every single quest, side quest, Witcher contract, or main storyline, which are kind of the 3 main categories for quest logs, are fully cinematic, fully written, fully voiced, and they have their own storylines. Like I said, they're independent, and they work. They work contextually with the story. They're realistic. Geralt is doing everything Geralt's doing is something you would imagine Geralt doing if he was a real person once you get to know him as you play through the game. And it's organic. You'll run into someone on this, on the road in the middle of the woods who's been attacked by bandits. You go and find these bandits. You kill these bandits. You find that they were hunted and wanted. You were hunted. They're wanted by the local earl or whatever, baron. You go meet him. He gives you quests, and all of a sudden you've spent 6 hours on something that was just as well written as any other main quest for any other game I've ever played, and it had nothing to do. You made zero progress in the main storyline. I mean, I've never seen anything like that, and it cannot be stated enough how important that is to what this game is and why it's so successful at what it does. And that's just a huge, really important part of this game. And I cannot commend CD Projekt Red, the developers and publishers, for this game. I cannot commend them enough for really taking the time to create a game that was not full of filler. I mean, that's just freaking thank you. I spent 90 hours on a single playthrough. I didn't get near everything done. Not even close. And I would probably say the main storyline was probably about 40 hours of that. So a little less than half, maybe a little bit more, close to half. So imagine that. I mean, I put in at least 40 to 50 hours of side content, and I didn't finish everything. So if you're someone who needs to get everything done and clear the map, you'll never finish this game, unless it's the only thing you play. You'll get 200 to 300 hours out of it. I don't care what people always say about, oh, it has about 150 hours. It's more than that. It's more than that. I guarantee it. So, cannot have a better buy, especially with CD Projekt Red being one of my favorite developers now. All that's free DLC. It's not major. They're not huge expansions, but you get quests, items, swords, usually things that a lot of publishers are happy to charge you up the ass for because, they're greedy corporate bastards. But no, they apparently think that $60 is an actual investment, which it is. And they're really rewarding us. And we are going to get expansions later on down the line for the game that are hefty, 10 to 30 hour chunks of gameplay. And that I will pay you for. I will pay you, CD Projekt Red, because you made a game and you didn't cut corners, you didn't cut anything out, and you didn't have day one DLC except for the free stuff, which is great. So they earned their right to charge for extra DLC down the line. And that's a statement that's becoming more and more rare. So that can't be understated again on how important this is and how great this game was and why, proof that you can have business like this and make money in this industry. You don't have to be a conniving fat cat and want to just everything's just DLC. Just buy $129, $229, $5.99, day one DLC, pre-order DLC. I don't need all this crap. Just give me a full, huge game. I'll play it, and if I like it and you've earned it, I will buy even more. So that's a big point to make. And here is a video of Geralt snowboarding without a snowboard. Because fuck, he's Geralt. He doesn't need a snowboard. So at this point, you're probably thinking, okay, well, this is 10. He hasn't even said anything bad about it, except for the Mr. Crazy Legs earlier. But I did say it wasn't perfect, so I want to be fair and just and go over some of the things that aren't great about the game. The horse is I love horses. I want to kill that goddamn horse though. It can't walk over bridges. It can't walk next to a tree. And it's like Assassin's Creed 3 all over again. Why even give me the horse if all I can do is run on the road with it? Really frustrating at times, actually. It's like trying to get the horse through the city. You're like, oh my god! you're running into fences and people, and it's like getting stuck on stuff, and it's just like, oh gosh, it was just very frustrating at times to get that horse around. Now, once you're out in the open country and you're using the roads, it's not bad. You don't notice it, and it's just such a beautiful game. Even on an Xbox One and even on consoles, it's beautiful. I've seen it on PC; it's even more incredible. And as soon as it drops in price, I'll pick it up on my PC and check out some mods and replay it again, probably a year or two down the line when it's cheaper. And I recommend you do that if you have the PC that can handle it. I think it's even going to push mine a little bit. And I've got a pretty powerful rig, so. But yeah, so that's one point of frustration. The horse. Expect the horse to piss you off if you're going to play this game. If you haven't played it yet. Trying to think of anything else other than the funny glitches, which are few and far between generally. Sometimes fighting an enemy can be a little bit like a boss. There's not really any boss fights. There's just enemies with more hit points you just got to survive a little bit longer against. Now, the boss fights of the main story, even though there aren't anything special as far as what you're doing, they're just really epic. And I know people say that word all the time. It's been kind of destroyed by overusage, like a good song. But I mean it epic. I mean, the music in this game, oh my God, this music is just beautiful. Listen to this. Oh, love that. Love it. And see, there I was trying to insult the game, or not insult the game, but trying to find what I didn't like. And I'm straining coming up with anything else. Okay, final verdict. ZeroHp's rating scale. It's 20-point scale, so 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, and so on, 1 through 10. I give pretty stretched ratings, so I think a lot of people look at, and I used to look at reviews, scores, as, if it's a 7, it's almost like grade percentages you get in school. So a 7 is like a C. That's not the way I look at it. 5 is equivalent to a C, because it's average. Okay, so 5 is average, which 5 means it's like a shrug. It's a shrug game. Like, yeah, it's fine. Okay, so I want you to kind of understand that. So I don't give a lot of games 9s or even really 8s. There's some 8s out there. Example of an 8 is an Alien Isolation. I'm just giving you this rundown because none of you have read my reviews or seen my review scale, so I'm just kind of getting your mind of where these scores are. Because I feel like there are some gaming, like some of the gaming magazines and other sites that they're constantly giving games 9s, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, and it's like, what does it even mean if like every other game gets a 9? So Alien Isolation was an 8 for me. I was going to tell you what Batman is, but I'm going to do a Batman thing, a short Batman thing later. So I'll use Alien Isolation as a thing as an 8. So I am going to give Witcher a 9.5 because it even though I didn't complain about much, just that horse, it's a common occurrence that the problems with the horse and the problems with the weird guy walking, and you'll see Mr. Crazy Legs every time you go to the city of Novigrad. I mean, it's not like it's, so they're few and far between enough to not break at any points of the game, but they're definitely there and they're consistently in your face, and it's like, geesh, so that's really the only reason it didn't get a 10. It's just that level of polish. And by the time, if you haven't played it, by the time you play this, I think they've already patched a lot of the problems with the horse getting stuck on everything and stopping over the bridge, but and maybe even the rest of it. But I'm always going to give a rating based on what the game is now. And if it changes a lot, I'll come back. Like Assassin's Creed Unity was broken for a lot of people. For me, it wasn't. I gave that game a 7.5 out of the gate because it did have quite a few glitches, but I still really enjoyed it. So, things like that can hinder it. I'm not going to change that 7.5 because that's how it was released and it had some problems. I didn't have the major problems that everybody else did. Probably got a lower score. So 9.5. Maybe it's a 10 now with all the updates, but your 9.5 is the score. It's automatically being entered into Game of the Year nomination. It has been auto-nominated, even with the games coming out. And I think the only games that have been auto-nominated, I think that's actually the only game that's been auto-nominated. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone's going to say something mean to me on YouTube or Facebook and say, Ian, you are an idiot. What about this game and this game? And then I'll be like, okay, well, I'm sorry, but Witcher is amazing, so shut up. Okay? So that's it. 9.5. One of the greatest gaming experiences I have ever had in my entire life. I implore you, I beseech you, play this game. Enjoy it. Put time into it. Take your time. Play other games in the middle of it, but play it. Play through it, because if you're a gamer, if you love games, and you are, and especially if you're just into story and character and world building and just beautiful music and just incredibly just climactic portions of storyline and huge battles and monsters, it's amazing. You have to play it, okay? I have decreed, as leader of the free world, America. I'm kidding. Just as someone who likes games and has played a shit ton of them, you should probably play it. I don't know. Thank you all. We will see you next time. We, as in me and Samurai Jack. Catch you guys on the next experience point. I have no idea what it's going to be about, but I'm excited to find out. All right. Later, guys.
Sweet